Hey, hey, what's up, good lifers? Um, you know, you're an expert. I tell you that all the time, and I'm going to keep telling you that. You're an expert in several things. You're an expert, like PhD, top 1% in the world at least one thing, but most likely at least several things. But you don't see it that way because you didn't go to some formal school for it, or basically, no one has told you that you're an expert. So and no one would say, yeah, you're an expert. You know what I mean? So you're allowing that idea that you're not an expert, that you're just you, and that the world doesn't tell you you're an expert, so you must not be. You let them determine your value. That's no way to live a good life, right? Because you should be the one that determines your value. You're the one that determines your value. You don't need the rest of the world to say, okay, you're worth that, or hey, you're worth that, or hey, here's a piece of paper, or hey, here's something, and here's our acknowledgement that we think you're kind of smart at some stuff. Doesn't matter. You just, what you do with your expertise, first of all, you have to accept, all right, there's some things that I must know about. I've lived a life. I've done a lot of things. I've done several things a lot of times and spent a lot of time with certain things or certain people or certain experiences. And you know what? Maybe I am an expert. Maybe I do know some things. Maybe I could actually teach people. Maybe I could share my expertise with the world and bring joy to them, bring benefit to them, bring value to humanity. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to solve world hunger to add value to the world. Any little thing that you can do is valuable. And I'll tell you what, any little thing you can do is more than most. Not because they can't, just because they don't. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you love baking. How about that? You know anyone that loves baking or cooking? Maybe they complain about it some, but they do it a lot and they're really good at it. You know anyone like that? Maybe it's you. Maybe it's someone you know. I mean, you got to eat somehow. I'd imagine you know someone that can cook something. Those people have their own unique ideas and perceptions and experiences about baking that they can share with the world. But most people don't in that situation or any situation because they think, whatever, this is easy, or anyone can do this, or I don't know that much, or everyone knows this. And it's just silly because experts don't understand, no matter what it is. It can be baking, could be rocket science, could be shoemaking, could be painting pictures, could be taking pictures, could be tying knots, could be jumping rope, could be playing poker, could be reading, could be writing, could be swimming, could be just knowing things about district lines in the United States of America and the history of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're an expert on things. Could be Dungeons and Dragons, could be some video game, could be Grand Theft Auto. I can just keep going on. Chess, checkers. I mean, anything. You can say anything, you can be an expert at it. Really. I'm not saying, oh, you can be an expert. You are, and people are experts in these things because they're areas of study. They may not be in a university or a college, but they're valuable to people, and that's all that really matters. You dig it? Now, let's go back to that baking example. If you're still with me. Still with me? Okay. That baking example. That person could write a recipe book. Well, who would buy that? I don't have anything to teach. I'm not that good. They could just go watch it on YouTube. All these excuses stop experts from sharing their expertise and their value with the world, and they rob the world of learning from them. Sure, maybe not every person in the world is going to be impacted by your expertise. So, how many people do you need to impact to add benefit to add value to, for it to matter? I'd say at least just one. But you could probably do it with at least a few dozen, with hundreds, with thousands, over time, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands. Here I am making a silly video. It's not a silly video. I'm silly sometimes. But I'm providing value to you because I spend ridiculous amounts of time studying and thinking about this stuff and going to seminars and learning from the world's smartest people and listening to other philosophies and researching it and doing science and I just bring it to you. That's where all this comes from. And I do stuff and I experience stuff and I think about stuff and I share it with you. Like, that's like my expertise. I mean, I have a few. I think most people have at least a few. But to be honest with you, I'm terrible at most things. You know, speaking of baking, I can barely make toast. You know, pop open the hood of a car, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at, although I know where to pour the oil most of the time, and the dishwasher, or not dishwasher, window washer fluid. But I'm terrible at most things, and you're terrible at most things too, because you just don't have experience. I don't have experience with everything, but there's some things in my life that I have crap loads of experience with. And I'm still to this day inspired to spend time every single day reading it, writing it, learning about it, hearing about it, doing it, experiencing it, experimenting with it, trying it, sharing it, asking other people. And like, that's what you do too. It may be about baking. It may be about, I'm not going to go on that rant again of all the things, because we could just start saying, oh, the best televisions in the world, the best speakers in the world, the best guitars in the world, the history of drums, the how to make glass jars, how to blow glass, how to grow corn, how to garden in a city garden, how to garden in a home garden, how to grow carrots, how to grow tomatoes. I mean, I could just go on and on. And you know what? There's people out there that want to learn about those things, and you can share it with them and you can be an expert at it. And I say that because you would enjoy doing that. Wouldn't you enjoy doing that if you're really into baking, or you're really good at it and other people wanted to learn from you and you could share with them and add value into their life so that they could bring it home to their families and share it with their friends and maybe go on and share it with other people and of course experience it in their life? That'd be cool, right? Doing it on your own time frame, doing it in the way that you want, maybe writing a book, maybe shooting a YouTube video, maybe writing a Facebook post, maybe sending an email, maybe having a hands-on cooking course if you were a baker again, of course. Like, I believe the good life needs you in your own, none of us have the exact same good life. You know, we don't have the exact same idea. None of us do, none of us ever will. It's always gonna be a little bit different. It's like snowflakes or fingerprints or, you know, stuff like that. Like, they're similar, but they're just never quite the same. Your own personal, unique version of the good life involves you sharing your expertise with the world in some way, whatever way, doing it in the way that you enjoy the most. I'm a firm believer of that, because you could go work at the post office or something and not like your job and just do that for 30, 40 years, even though you think about baking all the time. Or there's a guy I spoke with, I always like this one. He's really into terrariums. I didn't even know what a terrarium was before he said that. But they're amazing. His are amazing. It's like all you can think about. I don't even remember what he did for a job. It's something he wasn't inspired to do. Your life is short. I think it's valuable to not listen to all the noise and all the people and all the ideas out there, and allow yourself to freely think on your own and believe in yourself. And share your expertise. You already have it. I mean, if they gave out PhDs, I mean, let me hand you a PhD. You tell me what you think you're an expert in. Tell me your experience. You know, oh, I've been baking since I was 8 with my grandmother, and now you're 50. Yeah, let me give you several PhDs, because you probably know a ridiculous amount about all kinds of baking. I'm sticking with the one expertise there. But you get where I'm going with it? Like, maybe you're really good at saving money, managing money. Maybe you've been gardening since you were 8 and now you're 40. You know, you're an expert. God, yeah. You don't need to have that kind of huge gap. I mean, you know, 4 years, 7 years of doing something, you're an expert. And you don't even have to go that long, because no matter where you're at, there's people that can learn from you. You don't have to be the best in the world or have the most resources in the world. You just got to help people you just got to share with people what you have that's valuable. And you just grow and grow and grow, because the journey's never over. You're always learning more about baking or whatever it is. You're always getting better and experiencing new things and expanding. If it's baking, your waist is probably expanding too. But I hope that helps. Hope that makes sense. You're awesome. Peace.